Ministers, Your Excellency, honorable members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are here now at a panel that we've heard about a lot of things. This particular panel is the one that is close to our heart because it's about our diaspora. And we have a very strong panel that combines government, NGOs, and business. I would like to call the members of the panel, Ms. Maira Myrogianni, Secretary General for Greeks Abroad. I think she just stepped out for a minute. Ms. Maira Myrogianni, please. Mr. Athanasios Balermpas, Secretary General of Interior and Organization, Ministry of Interior, Hellenic Republic. Mr. John Sotos, Co-President, the Hellenic Initiative Canada. Mr. Endy Zemenides, Executive Director, Hellenic American Leadership Council. And Ms. Afroditi Xydi, Executive Director, Deon Policy Institute. What we're going to do is, taking into consideration the issues that concern the diaspora, we're going to start by exploring those issues, and then we will see what the motherland is thinking about those issues, what they have been doing so far, and what they plan to do.
We're setting microphones to you.
I would like to start, actually, with someone from the Greek diaspora, Mr. John Sotos, to tell us about, first of all, the issues that concern the diaspora today.
Great. Thank you, Constantine. Basically, as far as I'm aware, the diaspora has two broadly defined issues. One is probably the easier to deal with, and that is addressing the problems that the diaspora is facing whenever it needs to interact with the Greek state for a whole host of reasons, be it getting passports, be it relocating in Greece if they want to live and work there, or invest in Greece, and those types of issues. And the problem is that there are huge delays and there's huge inefficiency in terms of accessing whatever is required in order to interact with the Greek state. And so I'd like to start there. What basically is the Greek state doing, if thinking of doing anything, to staff the consulates better so that they can deliver proper services to the diaspora community? And secondly, what, if anything, is it doing to digitize the delivery of those services so that they can be much more efficient? Canada is a very huge country, and the consulate in Toronto, for example, serves an area that's probably 10 times the size of the Greek mainland. People can't travel, and air travel actually isn't even easily available from a lot of these places. So we need to be able to obtain those services a hell of a lot more efficiently than we do now.
So one point that we have to discuss is services. Okay,
yes,
services towards the diaspora by the Greek state.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Zemenides, You're a member of the diaspora as well.
I'll withhold judgment on that label for now. And on services, I actually want to point out these two Secretary Generals especially, and you know, this government has done a lot on the service front. Now, it has to be institutionalized, but I'll tell you, I don't think there has ever been an effort like we've seen. We know, and even though there has to be a lot more infrastructure behind it, we know, and I especially Secretary General Balermpas, the citizenship process, I mean, we're hitting record numbers. The fact, and the Secretary General yesterday, they did the plan, the strategic plan for the diaspora. I have some thoughts on the specific, but the fact that the effort is happening, again, this is unprecedented. But where I want to go is I think there is a deeper issue, a more fundamental issue of who are we? Because if we just do services, that's easy. You're going to get people who may want a Greek passport because they want to leave the United States now, or there's another pandemic. And frankly, this question, I've only seen it, and I give credit to Alexis and Tom and Simeon, Katsigiannis and Delphi's Hellas and the diaspora. I have not seen yet that philosophical attempt to say who we are and what model. That the first session was when they invited the former Hellenic congressman and now CEO of the American Jewish Committee in Greece, what was it, 2 Decembers ago, to discuss how do we, not only for political reasons, but how do we as a diaspora promote AJC's motto is global Jewish diplomacy. How do we do that? We've done sessions last year at Delphi. I'm sure we're going to do with the Secretary General at Delphi in DC. But who are we? Because for decades, everybody comes in here and talks about the diaspora as if there's one diaspora. I would argue that there's at least 5 in the United States. And if we are here as global Hellenism, and if the Greek state is going to come out with a single policy, we're going to be Italians. Lou may not care because he comes from a state run by the Italians, but the Italians were very strong in the United States. The connection between the Italian Americans and Italy, you should study that because that's not where Greece wants to be with its diaspora, but that is the direction we're headed right now.
Ms. Xydi, you run an organization that consists of children of the brain drain, of the Greek diaspora, of Greeks, Americans, and so forth, and you have been dealing with issues that concern, in general, the rapport with the motherland, and from what I know, you have also provided a consultancy and ideas to the Greek government in order to implement measures. Can you please give us your opinion, and what are the pluses and minuses that you see?
Okay, that's a very big question. I think firstly, for those of you who saw, yesterday the Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced the National Diaspora Strategy. This hasn't happened for 20 years. So it's something that we need to celebrate. Secondly, we have Mr. Balermpas here. I've been abroad for 15 years. I've voted twice the past 2 years. So this is also a major milestone. But I think it's important for us to just take a step back and contextualize where we are as a country and why this matters. The financial crisis that we experienced was the largest financial crisis that has ever happened during peace times. It was deeper and longer than the Great Depression. And for all of us who were abroad during that time, it was horrible to experience the amount of hatred that was coming towards us and the way we were perceived as, you know, the black sheep of Europe. So this brain drain generation, yes, which I'm a part of, 500,000 people who left, had to experience all of this negativity. And I think now we are in a part where the narrative has shifted. there's a lot more positive narrative coming out of the country, and this is like partner that with the fact that there's a lot of economic growth. There's a positive story, and I think this has brought a lot of hope to the diaspora who want to contribute. And this is the exact thing that we are tapping into. We're tapping into all of these brains that have left and did leave during the crisis or have existed abroad for so long. And now couple that with the hope that we can do something to make the country better. And we did submit many recommendations for the national diaspora strategy, and we're very thankful that a lot of them were implemented. I think in terms of priorities and something just to put on your agenda, I think something that the Greek diaspora really cares about is the Greek language and maintaining it, particularly in the US, as well as promoting Greek culture. These are also things that we all really care about, and of course we would love to be able to vote in the national elections with the postal vote, so I'm just going to bring this to the attention of Mr. Balermpas, who I'm sure will support that.
Well, thank you. Ms. Myrogianni.
So I'm starting by saying that Afroditi, I think, should work for the government. And let's start from there. I think she has answered some of our questions. I would like to say that we understand that we have a lot of issues regarding our procedures and our services. We need to remember that we come from after a crisis. We're trying to reorganize the internal and our external procedures. I'm not sure that this is working. No? Okay, no, it's not working. Okay, so we're trying to do a lot of things. We realize that we need to do more. Yesterday, the Prime Minister, we had the chance, as you said previously, to present the strategic plan for Greeks abroad for 24-27 in the presence of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And actually, it's the first plan that has been made. We think it's a very good start. We don't think that it's the end. This means that it's a dynamic plan. We need to have more of your opinions, and we understand that we need to have much more interaction. And this takes some time, but I think that we're trying a lot. This government has tried a lot in this direction. It has tried to reconnect as much as possible, and also the Prime Minister also yesterday said that we would like to extend the vote, and how important the vote was for us, and it's something that this government was so anxious to do and was so willing to do. It was not easy, as you know. We had, the other parties. We didn't have, the collaboration that we expected to have. But on a positive note, I think that we have now some goals appointed, so we know where we're heading. Regarding the services, we're trying to use the technology. We have the My Consulate. This is the instrument that you can have some services from a distance, so Greeks abroad don't have to travel if they're far away from the consulate. But we need to do more. We understand that. And as Prime Minister said yesterday, we understand that sometimes the fact that the interaction of the people with the consulates is difficult. This is something that we have in our mind, that is something difficult. This is something that we need to change. We have planned to have more, to hire more people in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in order to have more people in the consulates, because we have people in the consulates that they are working a lot, and they have to cover a lot of people, so it's not that easy. This is a start, and also the start is that to see our procedures and also to use the technology that we can have.
I will, if I may be permitted, Mr. Chair, I will concur with the fact that the consular people are working extremely hard and they're overstretched. That's not the issue. The issue is lack of available resources. And I know 10 years ago, 12 years ago, the local consulate had something like 15, 16 staff, and it now has maybe 6 or 7. Still the volume of work has not decreased, has actually increased in complexity. So technology should obviously help. But in terms of what the state is doing, and the introduction of, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but the introduction of the new program that was announced yesterday by your ministry, it's only in Greek. And some thought should be given to.
We're actually translating it right now, but you're right. It's only Greek. You're right.
I'm addressing generally. A lot of people are second, third generation.
It's fresh off the press, it just came out of the oven, so no time. It just was
Actually,
24 hours
it's
ago.
not. To be honest, this is something we had a discussion that was hosted by Kathimerini, and this is, and of course, the Secretary General inherited it, so this could be directed to the minister and to the deputy minister and to the previous Secretary General, who I do think dropped the ball. I don't even know how you could have possibly had public comment if John couldn't read it. And beyond that, and I mean, listen, we're all family here. We're trying to come up with a strategy. I did a quick survey of all the consulate generals and the ambassador in the United States. They had zero input on this plan. The plan starts with talking about a SAE. I said this, I'll say it again. If I hear SAE again, I'll have an aneurysm in front of all of you. It'll be, SAE was an abysmal failure. Abysmal failure. I think this is a time this government and this Greece has been paradigm shifting. Let's paradigm shift again. And that's it. I'm glad to hear there was ideas from Afroditi, who I trust, and that, but that was not brought all the way out. Let's study this issue, and I'm glad it's dynamic. But what should not be dynamic is let's get rid of old structures. There were members of the Hellenic Parliament in Washington, D.C., and they asked Greek Americans, why don't you take direction from us? I mean, this is one thing. We've noticed this. We've said this to the minister and to the previous Secretary General. The plan has a provision in there that encourages the diaspora to break American law. It says that the ministry should coordinate our political activities. Okay, then that means you don't want an independent diaspora. You want foreign agents. You might as well hire lobbyists if you want foreign agents. We have to have this honest conversation. There is the diaspora, this plan, my problem with the plan is you read it and you see, you get the message that the diaspora is to be managed, not enabled. Let's flip that equation. I think the bones are there, and I know the willingness is there, but in that plan, it's not there.
Very good points, Endy. I take the paradigm shift and and of course I'm sure the secretary would like to answer your question, your points.
This is just to help the discussion. Perhaps the deputy can speak about, in very high-level terms, what this plan is about, because a few of us have either seen or heard of it, but most people here don't even know what we're talking about. So maybe you can describe at a high level what it is that your ministry has come up with just yesterday, and then you can answer the question.
Yes, I will do that, but I need firstly answer to Eddie, because I think he had some very strong comments that I cannot relate to. And we know each other, but okay, anyway. I cannot say that we dropped the ball. I can, what I say, I think, and I would like for you to agree is that we have made an effort, and we have made an effort after a lot of years. Of course, I understand it was in Greek. It should have been in English as well. It should have been in other languages as well. But it was the first step after a lot of time that none step has been done. So I understand that we must talk more, but it's a very good start. And the fact that the ministry and also the government wants to have a connected plan and has to have a strategic about Greeks abroad is something important. Maybe we have Well, I don't think that we want people abroad to break the law, of course. But okay, if we have something that you consider that it should be this way, we can make it in another way. But we have to acknowledge the fact that we have started this plan after all this time. So to answer what is the goal, so is that the main issue of the strategic plan is to reconnect it, to facilitate the connection of the Greeks abroad with the motherland. Of course, with the improvement of our services in the consulate, also with different strategies for the language learning. This year we have started the programs, the hospitality programs, that we are taking a lot of students from the school and also from the university. They are coming to Greece for 2 weeks, having also lessons in Greek, but also relating to the Greek culture. This is a program that could work. And this is something that is going to be elaborated because it started this year only for the culture and the Greek language, but also we're going to have this kind of programs for traditional dances or for different activities that connect people and they are interested to people. For example, we're going to have a seminar between the yacht club of Castellorzo with the yacht club of Perth, because they are a country, they are cities that they are, connected. These kind of things. We understand that we need to listen more to the people from the diaspora. What you said is totally right, that we must define what is diaspora. It's not one thing. We're different people with different needs in different perspectives, in different educational levels. So we need to address everything and everybody. We have a special program for women that they have decided to stay home, they want to be connected, or for women that they are working. We're going to have platform that will connect not only the communities but also the people from different issues, the academia, the scientists, the lawyers. And this is only the start. We are having a special program for the youth. We're going to have the first Greek Youth Diaspora Symposium this November from young students from 16 countries and 4 continents. We're starting to have a plan. And what also I think is very important to do, and this is not something that has been done in a coordination, is also to consider what is happening in the private level, because we have a lot of people in the diaspora that they are working towards connecting the motherland with Greeks abroad, and this is something that we need to use as well. It's not it's not only the government; it's all together what we do, and this is the important thing that we need to understand.
Continuing on the positive things that have been happening and are actually running right now, I would like to ask Mr. Balermpas, Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior, about the actions and provisions that concern the diaspora that have been done by the ministry.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. Tsomokos and the Economic Forum of Toronto, the Hellenic Initiative, because they gave me the opportunity to come and meet a very dynamic part of Greek diaspora. I've made 2 journeys to the United States as Secretary General for Citizenship previous years. Actually, the first was a tour, and that gave me an image of what diaspora needs from the Greek state. First of all, we have 2 kinds of Greek diaspora, the already Greek citizens and the people who want to become Greek citizens citizens because they have Greek origin. This is what have to deal with as a Ministry of Interior. I believe that we've made a lot of progress in order to give information to the people who want to become Greek citizens. Actually, we sent directions in English to our consulates in the United States and in Canada. Also, we try to build electronic system, digital system, bots, in order to guide the people that they want to acquisite the Greek citizenship. But we also make a good step, I believe, by giving the authority to the Greek consuls to write down directly all the registry information from our citizens abroad. So we have omitted the stage of the special registry office in Athens. There they can go only the Greek citizens that they live far, about 300 kilometers far from the nearest Greek consulate. So, also, we are trying to simplify and digitalize as much procedures we can. Another step is that we have a very close collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are good partners. Even from my time in citizenship, we had a common task force in order to study, to listen, and to try to work out solutions on the benefit of our citizens abroad. We are thinking and we are examining some proposals. We have to see how effective will be. So give us a little time to examine all this together with Myra and to find out if we can deliver the solutions that everybody wants. Then, we don't need the EDSI anymore because the Greek citizens abroad can vote for government, can vote for European elections. I will remind that the government of Kyriakos Mitsotakis in 2019 passed the first law that gave to the Greek citizens abroad the opportunity to take part to the elections where they live. Of course, with a lot of restrictions, but these restrictions took off. It was the first law that the new government of Kyriakos Mitsotakis in 2023 passed in the parliament. So now we are going to make the great step. The postal vote in European elections was supported only by the government party, the New Democracy, as you know. It's a system that I believe is one of its kind as a system of postal vote. If we compare it with the systems in the United Kingdom or even in the United States, has more provisions and has a lot of stages that give the society we are pretty sure that everything goes all right, because the envelope with all the material goes directly to the voter. My sister in UK must find it in her box, in her post box, and the votes are counted the same day, the same hour, that everybody's votes are counting in Greece. I believe in United States they will count for a month. It depends on which state. So there are. So as a result, we have a system that works. It was not easy for the Ministry of Interior to anticipate all the challenges, but we did it, and we did it well. With this argument, I believe the government soon will come to the parliament and will ask for the other parties to pass a law with, of course, special majority of 200 votes, to pass a law that postal votes become the system that citizens, Greek citizens abroad can vote in national elections. Let me give you some numbers. In 2023, here in Canada, they were registered to vote about 250 people. Actually, they voted. They went to the polling stations about 175. It was understandable because the 20 voters of Vancouver had to come to Toronto to vote, of course. So that's the idea of the postal vote, to remove all the practical obstacles and to give the Greeks all over the world, the Greek citizens all over the world, to exercise their undeniable democratic right to express their opinion where their country have to go the next years. In the European elections of this year, we had 1,200 Greek citizens in Canada registered. And actually, near 1,000, they sent their envelopes with their vote. You see, it's 10,000. It was multiplied 10 times the participation, and it was European elections. Everybody can understand that in North America, European elections has less significance than the Greeks in Europe. So we are making steps in order to strengthen our ties with the Hellenic diaspora. We are trying better. We are willing to hear and to consult with the diaspora all the proposals and all the ideas we have. This government has very good ideas about not only the Greek origin people that want to become Greek citizens, but also we were working as in the General Secretariat of Citizenship before the previous time, even a card of origin that could allow Greek origin people not become citizens, but to have special privileges in Greece, like to stay as long as they want, to have transactions with the state and the banks, etc.
Thank you, Secretary General.
Thank you.
From what I understand, what I note from what you said is that good things have been done in relation to the diaspora, digitalization, postal voting, and so forth. What we have to deal with now, basically, is the implementation and get away with the teething problems from something that started things that started recently, and they need to be streamlined insofar their operation is concerned. And I take a note that there's a close cooperation between the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in that direction. I don't know if our... Yes, please, John.
May I just make a small intervention, and it may be because I don't know the full content of this new program, but the right to vote for expatriates, for example, is not really the only thing that is of concern. Lots of things happen between citizenry and the state on a regular basis, and typically there is an ability of a citizen to communicate, to be interaction, and there's got to be some kind of a process available, and I don't know if that's contemplated, where there's input both into the initial program that has been drafted, and I assume it's still a draft, so that there can be input coming from the user, and as part of that, there has to be, I think, the ongoing ability to communicate with the state as a citizen needs, rather than just waiting for the ballot box. And I would hazard a guess that of all the people who voted, the Canadians at least who voted in the two elections that the Deputy mentioned, I would say all of them were probably Greeks who left during the 2010s, rather than people who'd been here much longer, or even second generation or third generation.
John, from what?
Can we ask a question from the audience?
Not yet. John, from what you say, basically is I'm taking a step back, okay? In Greece, we have 6 cities with a population of above 100,000. Outside of Greece, we have 7 cities with a population in more than 100,000, okay? So basically, when we're talking about the diaspora, we're talking a Magna Graecia spanning the globe, right? Therefore, one point that has already been raised here is the matter of how we create the bridge, and the number one thing in creating the bridge is communication. What would you like to say about that?
How we strengthen the bridge. The bridge is there. We need to strengthen it. I don't think we consider that there is no communication. What you're saying is that we need more communication, right? Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I believe from what I saw...
In other words, there's got to be a process that's well-defined. People understand what they have.
From what I saw yesterday at the strategic plan, there are some specific measures even mentioned in there, even with the mobile telephone numbers and
We're
so
going
forth.
to have an application on the mobile phone so that we can have a quicker interaction. We're going to have Mitro, a registry, and not only the registry of the communities, because we need to understand that we have the communities that are very strong and very important for the Greek diaspora, but also we have people that they're not necessarily going through the communities, and we need to reach those people as well. And having in mind the tools that we have, we also have communities. We need also to redefine what a community is. I mean, a community in the social media for younger people is also a community. It's a form of communication as well. For me, what you said, I totally agree with what you said. We need to have more communication. The plan is not a draft, it's a plan. But we need to do more and more. And when you start something, then you start creating more things about it. But of course, we need more communication, and we have to strengthen this communication. And this is why the digitalization also helps us. And through your remarks and what you're saying, we're going to make it better as well. And sorry, what I also would like to say is that for me, having this position from the 1st of August, what I'm trying to do, what we are trying to do, it's what exactly you are saying, to communicate with the people abroad and to listen what they have to say in order to apply it. And we cannot do everything, and it's not possible to accommodate every idea, but to understand what the needs are. It's something that, and this is why maybe we didn't have the total expand of the of communicating, as you say, of this plan. But the fact that we had a public consultation, it was a step.
Thank you.
I think there's one thing that we need to be aware of, that I think Endy mentioned this. There's a lot of different diasporas, but there's also something that has changed a lot in the diaspora, which is the role of the church. It used to be that you could find majority of the Greeks through the church, and this doesn't exist anymore because the share of the Greek population that does attend these functions is reducing over time. And I think this is the exact reason why we need a better, at least, registry, not only of the people, which we don't have a full registry of the Greeks living abroad, but also of all of the organizations, so that the state can communicate through through these organizations.
This is part of the plan.
Yes, I know.
And also,
Sorry, but let me say that the church, I think that always plays a very strong role in the community. And okay.
excuse me, Mr. Katsigiannis, I
Please.
want to say that it's our responsibility to inform the Greek citizens abroad about the procedures and the laws that they are studying right now. During my tour in the United States, I told the people that we have the tools to give them a solution to their problems, but they have to. We must inform them about the tools, and also the close collaboration between the Ministry of the Interior and our authorities abroad, let's say, make our authorities more efficient to solve the problems. I was in Montreal. I take the chance to go to Montreal, and I had a very close collaboration with our consul there, and with the organizations, and we managed to deliver solutions. Sometimes documentation from Ministry of the Interior doesn't become aware of our citizens abroad, and we establish an open channel of communication with our authorities. When I was Secretary General for Citizenship in Athens, we extended the work of our people till 8 o'clock in the evening, because they had to communicate with the authorities, the consuls and the consulates in different time zones. We can deliver solutions, but as everybody refers here in this panel, we have to discuss, to have a connection and communicate properly.
On this, and also on the strategic plan that was announced yesterday, I was surprised that it was strategic plan 2024-2027. This means that the application has to start now. Okay, we really got to hit the ground running. And from what I see in the strategic plan, we are talking about communication and connections, okay? These connections, in my eyes, it's a PPP, public-private partnership, okay? and a complex one, because it deals with the diaspora and concerns the diaspora in all the continents of the world, right? So how do you see, and I mean, how everybody here on the panel sees this possibility and the need and what needs to be done in order to create this partnership soon and effectively?
I think the most important question for that plan is where will the money come from and how much money will that be? And I think that many ways the way we think about these plans is that all of this budget is a budget that the states provides, and also this budget has also decreased significantly over the past few years. During the crisis, this budget was almost eliminated. It's starting to re-increase, but it's still a small budget. And I think that because Endy mentioned the state of Israel earlier today, I think something that we are not doing enough of is trying to find ways to tap into other funding and how to have the state be an enabler for a lot of these connections that need to happen and find some of the funding through private sources. And I'll give a very specific example for this. You know, one of the big issues is the Greek language. And let's talk about like Greek language in universities. You can have a chair. That chair can be an endowed chair by a Greek who lives abroad. This shouldn't be state money, but I don't think we're thinking enough of where can we find the money, how do we tap into it, how do we have this role as an enabler rather than as the state being the actor for all of the things that need to happen.
Mm-hmm. And Endy and John, I would like to really hear from you.
So since we are at a Delphi Economic Forum event, even though we took the Delphi out and put Toronto, let's start with the greatest of Delphic maxims and know thyself. Let's be honest about what we're trying to do with this stage. I'm glad you brought up there are two kinds of diasporas. There are those who are citizens and those who want to become citizens. So as I said, I started my remarks saying, I don't know whether I fit in. Now I know I don't, because I'm not going to become a citizen. I'm not a citizen. And that's because I play a specific role in the United States. We're a bridge. I don't have a problem with that definition, but let's be honest what we're doing now. We're trying to get Greeks abroad to vote in Greece. That's the number one purpose of this. Okay, that may mean we expand it later, but if that's the number one purpose, that's exclusive of other things. We're not necessarily we're not a constituency. Some of you may feel like a constituency. I don't feel like a constituency. I feel like a bridge. I'm connected to all of you because we're all Hellenes. But I'm not going to be a citizen. Part of it is because of my political involvement. And I want you to think of this because we did this to Dr. Oz. Katsigiannis remembers this. 2 years ago, you guys remember when Dr. Oz ran for Senate and we ran commercials against him? He's a Turkish citizen. He does not. Would you rather have somebody who could vote in Greece their whole life or be a senator in the United States Senate? Because it's kind of exclusive, right? And so we should be thinking, in fact, I want to give credit. There have been amazing tactical successes, and the effort has been first rate. And not only at one ministry, and multiple ministries at the prime minister's level, the prime minister has interacted personally with the diaspora more than any other any prime minister. But those are tactical victories. There's a difference between strategy and tactics. And we're pretending to talk about strategy and we're only talking about tactics. Use this as a bridge. Make sure there are a lot of influencers in this room. John may not have, it may not, his investment is not what we're looking for. We're looking for him to find the 5 biggest non-Greeks in Toronto and bring them. You're involved in a university, you're involved in a think tank. Alexis and Tom and Simeon hosted the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. There were 5 billionaires who had never been to Greece, came to Greece. Now all of a sudden all of them want to do stuff in Greece. That's our role. If we're only looked at as a potential vote, and this is not what they're saying, but I can tell you their colleagues from the Greek parliament actually said that in DC 2 days ago. If that's all we're looking for, we're wasting our time.
I couldn't agree with you more. If that's what the Greek state is proposing or is planning, then we are wasting our time. But I think whatever this plan is, it needs to have input to hear all of these views and to take them into account in coming up with whatever plan that will actually be implemented. And budget is a very important part of that, because if there is an appropriate budget to support it, at least to get it started, nothing will happen.
To be fair, John, Afroditi said that. If we want to be part of Connected, the Hellenes, everybody says, and to be fair to them, right, they just came out of austerity. We keep saying, oh, let's be the model of the global Jewish diaspora. Do you know how much money Israel sends to them? 0. They send back. So if we want this, let's put up. These things, these chairs they're being established. And a lot of the things, a lot of the model programs that were in the plan, like some stuff that's happened even in Chicago, the return to your roots, private people are paying for it, be enablers. There are people who want to offer to Greece. So let's not look to Greece because I think that was one of the problems of SAE. SAE failed because it just became a cash cow for people who wanted to be getting money from Greece. Let's give the money back to Greece.
Again, I
Excellent
couldn't agree
point.
with that more.
Excellent point.
And talking about shares, I want to give a shout out to the Hellenic Heritage Foundation, which has established 2 magnificent Hellenic Studies programs at both York University and the University of Toronto here, all private funding.
Well, gentlemen, I take it that what you're saying is, don't ask what your country is going to do for you. Ask what you are going to do for your country.
Well, I'm from the Ministry of Interior. I cannot say something about the strategic. If you ask me personally, of course, I prefer not only one of Greek origin senator, but ministers and prime minister sometime here in Canada. From my part, I have to say that we must do anything we can to deliver services to the Greek citizens abroad that make them feel that they are part of our society. And second, you have the opportunity to strengthen their voice by taking part in the elections and to say your opinion in which way, in which direction the mother country can go and become more prosperous and more dynamic in the world. So take advantage of our efforts to give you a clear voice and influential voice, and get this opportunity, and please register in the elections. Also, I have to say that you cannot avoid to register your civil informations if you are citizens in our state. It's very important because that gives the opportunity in a lot of people to become your sons, your daughters, to become Greek citizens without any other procedure. We need to establish channels of information, channels of communications, and from our part, we are ready to do so, to discuss with you, to consult with you about the better and more efficient way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. Just a warning that we only have 3 minutes left, and I'm under very strict instructions to stop in time.
Okay, noted. I would like to start by commenting on what you said about the chairs. We think that in the government as well that The chairs of the Hellenic studies are a very important issue, and this is why we have decided this year to, we don't have the same maybe amount of money that some chairs are needed, that to give our contribution to these chairs. For some are the money that we have given are enough so that they can continue working. For others are not so important, but it was important for us to show that the state wants to contribute to that, and that gives importance about the continuity of the Greek studies, because we consider that when you talk the language, you have all the elements of the Hellenism. What also I would like to say to you, Endy, is that I don't believe that the Hellenism and is about passport and is about only citizenship. The mentality, the way of thinking, the state of mind, the culture, the language are not something necessarily legally attached. Are things that we have in our hearts, and this is what we need to approach, and this is what for us is important. To have the passport, to have the contribution in the votes, it's important because we want people to be more related to what is happening to the motherland, but it's not the only goal. For us, the goal is to have this conversation in 1 or 2 years from now and have a different discussion, to be able to say that we have better services in the consulate, that we need to make better, but there will be in a better situation, that we will have and other things in the plan, that we will all be happy about it. So for me, it's important not exactly what's happening now, but what we are going to be able to say in a year from now.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Secretary. And because our time is running out, and what I would like to mark here, and talking about, the strategic plan, and also the role that everybody will be playing, and I represent Canada Greece Chamber, John Sotos, the Hellenic Initiative Canada, Endy, Zemenides, Hellenic American Leadership Council, Afroditi, Xydi, the Deon Policy Institute. We are all working towards the same goal, creating connections between the diaspora and Greece, okay? And now you have the plan in place, okay? And everybody, at least on this panel, and I'm sure out there as well, that's involved in the diaspora and comes from the diaspora, are willing to help. So it's a matter, of joining forces and having the proper coordination.
Exactly. If I may, what I would like to say is that in the previous secretariat that I used to be in the International Economic Affairs, we had this instrument that was the plan for extroversion, that was a plan about all the initiatives in the public and in the private sector. And it was very useful because we started with 200 actions, for example, and we have, last year we had something like 700 actions because we were working together. And what it's important to say is that you start from 5 actions, I'm saying a random number, and then you start communicate. And you see what the private sector wants to do as well. We see a lot of programs in the hospitality level, for example, that are taking place by private sector and by people that they are focusing in certain different sectors because it's the sector of their interest. So this is the interaction that we need to have.
So basically, it's what we can have to conclude with. It's let's work together.
Constantine, if I...
Well, I'm forbidden to take questions from the public.
Constantine,
but if you insist,
Constantine, if I may ask at least one question.
Yes, I'm running the next panel, so I'll give you 2 minutes for mine. Thank you. Many of us on the Canadian side in this room interact with us. Many of us on the Canadian side of this room interact with the state through the consulate office, and it's challenging because of the backlog, right? Can you hear me?
now
So my question is, Greece has done a phenomenal job over the last couple of years digitizing with gov.gr. What is the plan to expand this digital enablement to the diaspora so that we can interact more digitally and not have to line up and wait for months at the consulate to get a stamp and write a ledger in a book?
Yes. You said the proper words because they are in the strategic plan as well. We are going to connect the GovGR, as you mentioned, with the Diaspora GR that is going to be a platform for services and connection also for Greeks abroad. So we have a plan about that.
If I may add to this, the procedure to register for the postal vote was actually a very good exercise. How you can make things with make communication with Greek authorities back in Greece at real time, digitally and at real time. So the we're making steps forward.
Well, I want to thank this excellent panel. Thank you very much. I hope it was helpful to all the members of the diaspora, and I'm looking forward actually to working together on bringing this forward.